All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Leisrealtalk. Did you guys have a nice moon festival yesterday? Did you see the full moon? Well, actually, today's moon is the moon will be fuller today on the 16th. Yeah, the 16th of lunar month, August 16th. Anyways, well, there are just over 2 weeks left until the CCP's fourth plenum. The countdown to a final face-off between Xi Jinping and the anti-Xi camp has officially begun. Everyone is asking the same thing. Will Xi Jinping step down or will he be removed? The anti-Xi faction, led by former party chief Hu Jintao and his premier Wen Jiabao, has been quietly dismantling Xi's inner circle. Their aim is a peaceful handover, force Xi into resignation or retirement at the plenum. But Xi Jinping isn't folding, he's exploiting a key weakness in the anti-Xi front and pushing for a comeback. It's an ugly fight. A gentleman versus a hooligan. That's what I always say. The gentleman has the moral upper hand, but the hooligan will play dirty. At the end of the day, the person with the real trump card is Zhang Youxia, the de facto PLA leader. He doesn't have to join either camp to decide the outcome, yet his position is the most dangerous of all in the anti-Xi camp. All right, with that said, tonight we'll unpack this high-stakes drama inside CCP politics, because honestly, there isn't anything like it. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I'll bring you clear updates on China, Chinese politics, and Chinese people, Chinese society. All right, now a quick overview of the battlefield before the plenum. I want to say platinum, no, plenum. All right, so let me give you a quick overview of the battlefield, what it looks like on the field. For nearly a year, we've watched Xi Jinping's loyalists fall one after another. We've seen old slogans and political figures associated with Hu Jintao have returned to the headlines. The powerful central decision-making and coordination body has been revived to check Xi. Officials that Xi Jinping tried to sideline, like Hu Chunhua, Wang Yang, and Hu Jintao's son, Hu Haifeng, are back on stage. The headline conclusion may be that many people draw is this: Xi Jinping's days are numbered. But if Xi Jinping has lost power, why do party elders keep pretending he's still in charge? Right? That's the question many of us have. And that's the reason why many people are not convinced that Xi has lost power. I give you two reasons. First, they want to take, they meaning the party elders, they want to take out the rat without breaking the vase or the vase. That's a Chinese expression, meaning get rid of Xi, but protect the party and minimize collateral damage. And the second reason is that they don't want a coup on their record. The anti-Xi side insists on a legal, orderly transfer. No blood, no public purge. That strategy explains why Xi remains a figurehead, but it also leaves a fatal loophole. And that loophole gives Xi a chance to fight back. Now, there are really only two legal ways for Xi Jinping to step down. Option number one is he resigns at the fourth plenum, perhaps citing health reasons or another plausible reason, and then retires gracefully. That's what the party elders want. Option number two, he clings on until the 21st Party Congress in 2 years, when a normal leadership transition would occur. That's the outcome that Xi Jinping prefers. Here's the catch. The first path only works if Xi Jinping cooperates. If he shows up at the plenum and refuses to resign, the anti-Xi camp faces an ugly choice. They either have to accept him or they try to remove him via a formal vote, a motion of dismissal inside the Central Committee. It sounds like a internal democracy, but it's actually very risky. Why? Because Xi Jinping personally has vetted the roughly almost every one of the 370 full and alternate members of the Central Committee. Yeah, 370. 205 full members and about 165 alternate members, so 370. But more than 70% of them are his people. So the anti-Xi side has removed some of his allies from key positions, but they can purge everyone. They can purge them all at once. They don't have the time. And they can overreach. So their current tactic is quiet persuasion, one-on-one meetings with Central Committee members, securing verbal commitments. But every Xi Jinping loyalist has their own calculus. Jumping ship is dangerous. And in 2 weeks, can the party elders really guarantee enough defections to win a vote? It's very difficult to say. And some people say it's highly unlikely. And Xi Jinping knows this. He may be a terrible leader, but he's not foolish. He understands the anti-Xi camp's biggest weakness, their insistence on legitimacy. They want a clean, bloodless transfer, but that very insistence gives Xi room to maneuver. If they're forced into a vote, the result could still favor Xi Jinping. And that brings us back to the formidable Zhang Youxia. There he is, the man under the most pressure. Now, he holds real military power, and the elders rely on him. But if the elders insist on the legal removal of Xi, that would expose a raw power grab. Zhang Youxia could become the sacrificial pawn. Now, think it through. If Xi Jinping refuses to step down at the plenum and somehow survives until the 21st Congress, 2 chaotic years open up. The elders might survive politically because they're party elders, they've retired, they hold no positions, but Zhang Youxia and his circle would be the first to pay the price, eliminated, jailed, or even worse. People think that Zhang Youxia may not live if that's the case. And he knows he cannot wait. So his only sure path to survival is to ensure that Xi steps down now, completely and without return. If the elders compromise and let Xi Jinping remain as a symbolic leader for 2 more years, Zhang Youxia's survival chances diminish drastically. That's why his next move is crucial. So for Zhang, there's only one real option left. Do whatever he can, partner with the elders or use military leverage that he currently has to prepare an independent contingency plan. Now here I want to, that's everything I've said so far is just to give you a realistic view of what's on the ground, what's on the battlefield. Now let me share with you one leak that's very interesting. It said that Zhang Youxia and General Liu Yuan, they're buddy. They recently visited Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao to discuss emergency plans or contingency plans for handling Xi Jinping at the Fourth Plenum. So there they are. And so these two are the ones they met, and these two were also present. So the 6 of them met, okay? And the meeting took place at a heavily guarded private residence in the Western Hills outside Beijing. Xishan, the Western Hills is in Chinese is Xishan. And let me just, and that's there are underground military bunkers built for top leaders. Anyways, so during the meeting, Zhang Youxia made 5 points very clear. First, he said that if Xi Jinping doesn't step down at the Fourth Plenum, the situation will turn dangerous. He will be under enormous pressure, and the PLA could become unpredictable. His point number 2 was that if Xi refuses to bow out, the safety of Wang Yang and Hu Chunhua will be in jeopardy. And according to military intelligence Zhang had gathered, both are already being closely monitored by Xi. If the plenum doesn't go as intended or as planned, their lives could be at risk. 3, if Xi stays, the power struggle inside the party will move from behind closed doors into the open. The infighting will spiral out of control, turning into a street fight in broad daylight. And his point number 4 is that Xi Jinping is unlikely to give up power voluntarily. The elders must be ready to act fast if that happens. And Zhang reportedly said, I've served in the PLA for decades. If things spin out of control, even I may not be able to stop it. You must have an emergency plan. And 5th, the last point he made, he added a philosophical warning. He said, once something starts rolling, there's no turning back. And he said, it's like a rock falling down a hill. You can't stop it. You can only try to guide it without knowing where it will land. All right, so the exact timing of this meeting isn't known, but Zhang's words seem to have worked because another leak suggests the party elders already have an emergency plan in place in case Xi goes off script. And according to this leak, the elders plan to use is to use Li Keqiang's death as the trigger to bring Xi down. So here's how it would unfold. Okay, it's very, very detailed. It's very interesting. So if Xi Jinping suddenly backtracks during the Fourth Plenum, this man will step in. Hu Chunhua, as a Central Committee member, will submit a formal motion demanding a full investigation into the sudden death of former Premier Li Keqiang. So why Hu Chunhua? Well, because party elders no longer hold official titles, they can't really propose an emotion. So they need someone inside the system to act. And so this, according to this leak, Li Keqiang's death has been determined as a political assassination ordered by Xi Jinping, and that the party elders have secured both witnesses and evidence. So this is Xi Jinping's fatal weak spot. And why haven't the elders used it before? Well, because they wanted a smooth, controlled transition. And once the whole world learns that the CCP's general secretary assassinated his premier, the party's legitimacy could collapse overnight. But if Xi decides to fight to the end, if he refuses to cooperate, then all pretenses of civility are gone. The legal handover plays ends, and open political warfare begins. And the motion would serve as a warning to every Central Committee member or alternate member. If Xi isn't removed, anyone could be the next Li Keqiang. So Hu Chunhua will fire the first shot. Then other senior officials will follow, including, they gave the specific names as far as who will follow him to fire more shots at Xi Jinping. So the party secretary of Shanghai, Chen Jining, and then Shi Taifeng. By the way, the Chen Jining is a technocrat. He has, I think, a PhD from a college in London. He's Western educated. And I saw other people claim that he has defected to the to the anti-Xi camp already, even though he was he was one of the prospects to succeed Xi Jinping. But anyways, so he will speak up. And then Shi Taifeng, the Minister of Organization, and then Wen Jiabao, the party secretary of Chongqing. So these three people apparently have defected, will speak, will kind of, show support for Hu Chunhua's proposal. And then remember Wang Huning, the ideology chief, who recently distanced himself from Xi by clasping his hands behind his back on camera when he was in Xinjiang with Xi Jinping. Remember the photos I showed you? So according to this leak, Wang will deliver another major blow, accusing Xi of building a cult of personality and seeking lifetime rule. Meanwhile, Premier Li Qiang and Zhang Youxia would also take the floor. Where are they? Oh, I don't have that slide. Anyways, that's okay. So Li Qiang will blame Xi Jinping for crippling the government, abusing power, and wrecking the economy. Zhang Youxia will accuse Xi of letting his wife, a performer with no military background, interfere in military affairs, and of purging senior officers under the banner of anti-corruption, thereby crippling the army's combat strength. After those speeches, Hu Chunhua would return to the podium to formally move to suspend Xi Jinping from all positions. At the same time, the Central Committee would propose Wang Yang as acting Secretary General. There he is. And listen to this. Together with the party's decision-making and coordination body. Okay, he is not taking over Xi's job alone. So he's an acting general secretary. And then together with the party's decision-making and coordination body, they will function as the interim leadership team until the 21st Party Congress in 2027, when a new leader would be chosen through collective consultation, whatever that means. And according to this leak, Zhang Youxia would be appointed acting chairman of the Central Military Commission, again until the 21st Party Congress, when they elect a new military chief. The state presidency would also be temporarily assumed by Wang Yang until next year's two sessions, when a new president will be formally confirmed. The two sessions are annual events, right? They decide state positions, but the party leadership is decided at the Party Congress that happens every 5 years. And as for Xi Jinping and his inner circle, namely Cai Qi, He Lifeng, and Wang Xiaohong, He Lifeng is the vice premier in charge of the economy, and he is a personal friend of Xi Jinping, who he also heads the delegation in the trade talk with the U.S. And Wang Xiaohong is the Minister of Public Security. Wang Xiaohong is also a personal friend of Xi Jinping. And also his wife, Peng Yuan. So Cai Qi, He Lifeng, Wang Xiaohong, and also Peng Liyuan, where is he? There she is, sorry. They would all be placed under Shuanggui, meaning they must report at designated times and locations to explain their conduct and activities. So by this stage, everything appears legal and by the book, making it almost impossible for Xi's loyalists to keep defending him. So in short, if Xi tries to resist, the anti-Xi elders already have a major political case ready, charging him with sabotaging the party. They will then set up a special investigation committee chaired by Wen Jiabao, with Hu Chunhua as executive deputy chair to probe Xi Jinping's corruption and abuse of power. The committee would have 2 years to complete its work and deliver a final report before the 21st Party Congress, along with a bulletin to the entire party. That's the official emergency plan, one that technically follows the CCP's own rules. But even that plan could go wrong. What if those expected to denounce Xi suddenly lose their nerve and stay silent? So even that plan is not a guarantee of success. So that's why there must be a plan B, a backup plan for when everything else fails. And the only way for the anti-Xi camp to be absolutely sure of removing Xi is to physically control him and his inner circle the moment he refuses to cooperate. That way, they can release a resignation statement in his name and skip the risky Central Committee vote altogether. But for that to happen, they need the military and Zhang Youxia. And that's why we've seen military convoys entering Beijing recently. Remember, I showed you the footage of rows of military vehicles, including armored carriers and even ambulances from the 82nd Group Army, which is normally based in Baoding, Hebei. The convoy was heading straight into Beijing. And based on the number of vehicles people counted, they estimated around 3,000 troops were deployed. And most people believe this is part of the security arrangement for the upcoming plenum under the pretext of providing extra protection. The plenum itself will bring together 400 to 500 people, including about 370 full and alternate members of the Central Committee, some key officials not in the committee, and also retired party elders. And the venue will be Jingxi Hotel, which is a site reserved exclusively for high-level CCP meetings, which is now heavily guarded by the military. Now, what's especially striking this time is the PLA's deliberate show of force. Heavy units have been positioned within sight of the delegates, creating a mood of constant tension and vigilance. It's a visual warning, right, intended as a message to the meeting delegates. What's the message? Follow the military's lead. Do what you're supposed to do or else. In the end, how the Fourth Plenum wraps up won't be decided by Hu Jintao, Wen Jiabao, or any other elder. The key figure is Zhang Youxia. And now he reacts when real danger appears in front of him, right? So you may say it's the party elders and Xi Jinping fighting back and forth, but the ultimate trump card is in Zhang Youxia's hands. And it all depends on how he reacts. Now, to make sure nothing goes wrong, Zhang Youxia's trusted ally, General Liu Zhenli, who also sits on the CMC, I actually have a picture of him. Yeah, there he is said to be directly commanding the 82nd Group Army, now responsible for securing Beijing and Zhongnanhai. Another CMC member, Zhang Shenming, reportedly controls the party's major knife-handle officials, Defense Minister Dong Jun, State Security Minister Chen Yixing, and Political Legal Affairs Chief Chen Wenqing, to prevent any Xi loyalists from mobilizing force in retaliation. At the same time, it was said that Zhang Youxia has ordered all major theater commands to cancel leave and maintain level 1 combat readiness. No one is allowed to leave their post. So, of course, the remnants of the Xi faction still exist within the Central Committee and the PLA, but during the plenum, they will be under tight surveillance, making sure none of them can stir up trouble. Now, there's another story that I found fascinating, so I want to tell you that. It claims that Xi Jinping himself recently paid a visit to Hu Jintao, hoping to ease tensions ahead of the Fourth Plenum. Let me just get rid of the pictures because they don't make any visual aid. I mean, there's no picture at this point. Okay, so yeah, Xi Jinping visited Hu Jintao, trying to ease tensions ahead of the big meeting. And he reportedly brought his wife with him and all 6 members of the Politburo Standing Committee to join him. But Hu Jintao refused to meet Xi in person, citing health reasons. Instead, he sent Wang Yang to receive Xi and deliver 8 heartfelt messages on his behalf. So here's what Hu Jintao said through Wang Yang. Okay, the 8 heartfelt messages are very interesting. So first, his first message was, I've done all I can to help you. I don't want to see you before the Fourth Plenum because I'm too soft-tempered, and I might make a mistake if I do. All right? Point number 2, the decision regarding you reflects the shared voice of the party, the military, and the 1.4 billion people. It's not a personal grudge between you and me. Number 3, you want to meet me only to protect your power and to pursue lifetime rule. That will not be allowed. You should abandon those thoughts. It is said that, by the way, that Xi's face froze when he heard this. And the message number 4 is, you are over 70 years old. Think about your legacy. You have a large family, or you have an extended family with vast business interests. Don't just think about yourself. Consider your descendants and their future. Message number 5, reflect on how you've chosen people. Many of the recently fallen generals and officials rose through flattery. That's done serious harm to our country. Number 6, Li Keqiang was a good man. His death still pains me. He was only a scholar with no threat to anyone. Number 7, I respect your father, Xi Jinping, as a true revolutionary. You should carry on his spirit, not stray further down an extreme leftist path. Number 8, you should really think about what Chairman Mao meant when he said, serve the people. Supposedly, after Wang Yang finished delivering these 8 messages, Xi Jinping didn't respond. He didn't say much. He exchanged a few polite words with Wang, then left abruptly with his entourage. Witnesses said Xi's face was as dark as the sky before a storm. Peng Liyuan remained silent. His wife remained silent the whole time. Sources say that right after leaving, Xi Jinping convened his inner circle to discuss how to handle the growing pressure inside the party. Meanwhile, Hu Jintao's 8 pieces of advice, what do you call that? 8 admonitions, right? Quietly circulated among retired leaders. Many of them reportedly agree with Hu Jintao's words. The authenticity of these leaks cannot be verified. If true, it's probably deliberately leaked to serve as warnings to Xi Jinping's faction. If they're not true, they're intended as suggestions drafted to the party elders. But taken together, they paint a vivid picture of Xi Jinping's struggle for political survival in 2 weeks and the deep mistrust the anti-Xi faction now holds towards him. So stay tuned. The countdown has begun, and every day from now until then could be eventful. and can change everything. So those are the fascinating stories I've gathered for you. I never expect that the plans could be leaked in such detail. So I do not know if they're real or not. Even if they're not real, they do reflect what's happening in Zhounanhai. I do not think they're entirely false. So with that, I hope I have entertained you. Like I said, there's nothing like CCP politics. All right, so how did I do? Okay? All right, okay. Boring? All right, okay, let me see. What do I get from people? Hello, okay. All right, let me see. Question, comments? Oh yeah, there's Chris. All right. Someone said, you look pretty today. Oh yeah, I'm wearing some bold colors. This dress doesn't look good in real person. I mean, it's so colorful that I think it washes me out, but somehow it looks good on camera. Yeah, it's very interesting. So things that don't look good in life, but looks good on camera. Yeah. So I was surprised that it actually looks pretty nice on camera, but good. Oh, I have a super sticker. Let's see. I want to thank the person. Oh, here's a... Okay, all right. Question, comments, criticisms, they're all welcome. Okay. All right. Nothing. I can't find any question. There's nothing addressed to me, which is good. That means I must have been thorough in my presentation. Yes? Okay. Oh, here's a super YouTube user. Well, thank you, YouTube user. Okay, excellent. All right, people still talking about Yu Monglong. Yeah, the case is someone asked me, I have a fan who sent me a couple of emails. Someone said that his mother has died. I've heard of that too, but it's not confirmed. There are so many stories out there. And I cannot say that they're all true, but I cannot say they're all false. I'm trying to wait a little bit to have the dust settles, to settle a little bit. But I think it looks more and more like what do you call that? A ritualistic offering or ritualistic sacrifice. Yeah, everything that has come out in the past couple of days paints that picture. All right, okay. Let's see. Kevin Job. Wow, beyond fascination, how will we know if she's still in power or if he's acting as figurehead? Well, he's acting as a figurehead. He still has some power, but not as much as he used to have. Yeah. So you can't say he's completely lost power, because when you're a figurehead, you still have some power. So, but the very reason, like this is a classic example of a struggle between a gentleman and a hooligan, because the mere fact that the gentleman wants to play by the rule, gives strength to the hooligan. So then the gentleman is forced to come up with a plan B, to play dirty as well. So yeah. All right. I see some super stickers coming my way. Margaret Ness, thank you for covering about Yu Monglong. I'm still praying for his family, especially his mom. Yeah, it would be sad that they do something to his mom. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the crime. But I heard that the two dogs, He has 2 dogs, but they killed the 2 dogs. That's what I heard, which broke his fans' heart. You know, his fans wanted to find out the whereabouts of his dogs, but they heard that they're dead. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Wise lack. Has there been infighting due to Korea's live fire drill in November? Infighting within the CCP? No. Oh, I want to give you an update. You know, my last video in one of my last live streams, I talked about Xi Jinping's escape plan, right? And his plan is to go to North Korea. And there was one question about whether or not he's going to North Korea for the military parade, for Kim Jong-un's military parade. Guess what? He's not going. And Li Qiang is going in his place. So, and also I heard that he may not even go to APEC at all, to South Korea, because Trump said, didn't Trump post that he's not meeting Xi Jinping until next year? So that means that he's not meeting Xi Jinping at APEC. So people interpreted it as Xi Jinping is not going to APEC. So that's interesting. We'll see. All right. Tony Rivera, forwarded by Chris. Do you think total riots will happen and civil war will happen? I think riots will happen. Total riots will happen when the CCP runs out of money to pay the police. When the police, local law enforcement are not paid, then who's going to put out the riots? That's the moment when what you call total riots will take place. So I think it will happen. We're at the brink. Norbert Klotz, what happens if the threat of 3,000 soldiers in that location does not help? When you say does not help, meaning they do not follow the order? I find it hard to believe. I think they would, because they're military, they follow the order. And they're not opening fire to kill someone. They're just there to enforce security, right? So I don't see why these soldiers wouldn't follow order. I mean, the soldiers followed order to open fire on citizens in Tiananmen Square in 1989. And this time they're just there to maintain security, maintain order. You don't need 3,000 soldiers to take out Xi Jinping and his inner circle. You only probably need a dozen of them or 2 dozens of them. So I think the 3,000 soldiers will do their job as they're being told. Los Catos, you did a great job. Thank you for every informative presentation. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. All right, thank you. I see some super stickers coming my way. John Allen. Well, thank you, John, for the super sticker. I love it. Thank you. Okay. Here's one from Chris Gulaf. Gulaf? Do you think that any contacts between Trump and Xi will come back on Trump? I don't think there's any contact between Trump and Xi directly. I don't think Xi Jinping is allowed to contact Trump directly. So, yeah, I think they have to go through someone. I don't think Xi Jinping's. I don't think Xi Jinping can pick up the phone and call Trump at this point. I think his calls are all monitored and controlled. Yeah. I think we will know at APEC. If he doesn't go to APEC, no, I think, well, actually APEC is after okay, here's my conclusion. If this plan that I gave you takes place at the Fourth Plenum, then Xi Jinping is not going to APEC. then Trump is right in saying that he will not meet Xi Jinping, but not even next year. He probably will not meet. I mean, he will meet Xi Jinping if he goes to China. I mean, but as Xi Jinping will be a retired party elder. All right. Okay. Okay, I reached the bottom, and here's a question. Kaylee, I missed the first part of the live. Did you discuss the rumor about a Lu video posted on the dark web? Or Yu video? Did you mean Yu video or Lu video? Someone was trying to tell me that. I haven't looked into it. I will. Is the CCP broke? Very much so, but it's embezzling money from private citizens because people can't get their money out. People have to provide proof of use, or you have to provide justification when you take money out of your bank. So, yeah. So by Western definition, CCP has long been broke. But by CCP's definition, it's not, because it's using it's using its citizens' money to fund itself. Will the Fourth Plenum be televised? I don't think so. I think these plenums are not televised. No, because these are small meetings. The party Congress, parts of the party Congress are. All right. That shall be it for tonight. I have so much information for you. I feel like I could do a live stream every night, although that will kill the time I need on my other channel, on the Looking Glass. So the next, I want to talk about, let me make an announcement. The next program will be very interesting because it's about whether or not the PLA whether or not Xi Jinping will launch a war as his last resort to hold on to power. So I want to talk about that and how the two sides, how Xi Jinping and Zhang Youxia are fighting around the issue of a war, starting a war. And it's very, very interesting. The information I found is very interesting. So I want to talk about that, hopefully on Thursday. Well, it will have to be on Thursday because I don't want to wait until weekend. All right, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. We'll have another corporate time machine. Hi, Lei, why is it throughout history, the people of China have vastly outnumbered their ruling class? Dictatorships have not been able to create democracy. Democracy also has its weakness. I think the Western concept of democracy somehow does not, is not in compliance with the Confucius ideal model of a government. It's very Western. The whole concept, for example, I mean, if you have a Western style democracy, you will have a debate, right? Your candidates will hold a debate. But that idea of arguing in front of the public is a dreadful thought. In Chinese culture, we do everything we can to avoid confrontation. As bad as the CCP, I mean, their officials, as ugly as their political infightings have been, they still try to appear as if they are one body in front of the public. In the traditional Chinese culture, we don't, arguments. It's very hurtful. So it's very difficult for Chinese to hold. I mean, when we do argue, it's already bad. It's already a fight. So to have a diplomatic, benign argument, debate in front of your nation, it's very foreign to Chinese. I must say that. It's very foreign. So that's why you can't, it's very difficult to just, drop the whole framework of a Western democracy onto China. I think it could be. I mean, there are a number of democracy in Asia that appear to be democratic, but the entire election process is controlled. It's still a dictatorship, right? I mean, so democracy only works when people believe in that system. When people do not believe in that system, when the elite class does not believe in that system, it will not work. So that's why it would be interesting to see what kind of a political system China will adopt post CCP. But Taiwan is a good example. Taiwan is a true democracy now, but it took them a couple of decades, right? This was the last election was the first time when they had when one party continued to rule. Was it the last election? Yeah, I mean Taiwan's democracy matured in the last 10 years, but they had decades of preparation maturing to so it's hard for China and then Taiwan is a very Western society. There's so many Taiwanese that are educated in the West. So Taiwanese are very well educated, they're very Western, they're very open-minded, and that's why democracy works well in that society, in that country. I'm not afraid to say that, to use that word. But in China, I'm not sure if it will work at this point because it will be manipulated. You could hold an election, but that result is predetermined. What's the point, right? But it's a very good question. Thank you for the question and the super sticker. All right, I should end it here. I'll see you on Thursday. Please join me. And till then, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.